Good evening, it's meteorologist Michael Fecca. Welcome back to the 9 p.m. all-weather, all-streaming show that we do here every night during the workdays and on weekends. We stream it out to all of our streaming platforms as well as to Facebook Live. So if you are joining us from Facebook and you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please feel free to leave them down below. Hopefully, I'll be able to address them as I go through the forecast, but if not, I'll go through at the very end and see if I can address anything individually for you. But here's a look at our headlines, and it was a beautiful day out there. It looks like Jeanette said it was so nice out, and you were right. We had plenty of sunshine. Temperatures were comfortable into the 70s, and we're going to have another great evening ahead of us here. And really, looking ahead at the next 7 days, there's not a whole lot coming down the pipeline in terms of the weather other than warming back up and staying dry. But we'll be brisk overnight tonight, so temperatures are actually going to stay below average through this evening, dropping down into the upper 40s. So many of us probably leaving those windows open this evening. You may actually have to close them if it gets a little too cold. That's a little bit too chilly for me to leave the windows open anyway. But it is going to be a cool one out there, especially waking up early tomorrow morning. Folks headed out to work, school, definitely want to grab that light jacket or a long sleeve to stay on the warmer side. But today we got all the way up into the mid-70s, a perfect, almost fall-like feeling day. We're still, at the very last stretch of summer here, and looking ahead, unfortunately, it doesn't look like fall is going to be sticking around with us here much longer. We are going to warm back up through the end of next week. But right now, temperatures are hanging out in the 50s, 57 here in Evansville, 54 down towards Henderson. Still pretty warm there in Owensboro, 64 degrees, and then around 53 to our north up towards Mount Carmel. And this nice, cool, refreshing air mass that is in place through the last couple of days has been supplied by this area of high pressure that is anchored right overhead, right over the Midwest and the Ohio River Valley specifically. That is why we barely even had a cloud in the sky today, but that helped bring the winds out of the northwest, so that helped keep things nice, cool, and refreshing. We haven't tracked out any shower activity on the radar all day today. We don't expect any through the rest of tonight or much of next week. So we'll stay dry here. Temps drop down into the upper 40s. Tomorrow we'll warm right back up, very similar to what we got to today, into the mid to upper 70s, maybe a degree or two warmer, with winds becoming easterly, between 3 to 6 miles per hour. And again, here's the future radar. Not really much to show on here, not really tracking out any precipitation. You'll see we'll stay clear and dry through tonight and into the day on Monday. So no issues for tomorrow. And looking at the precipitation outlook, it doesn't really look like we'll have much of an issue with precipitation moving in anytime soon for the next 6 to 10 days. So September 13th through the 17th still looks like we're going to be on this drying trend, and the drought continues to worsen. This updates every Thursday. At least last week, or at least 2 weeks ago, we were picking up some abnormally dry areas, but no drought was being observed just yet. And then as of this Thursday's update, it was found that some drought is being observed, moderate drought through mostly western Kentucky and up and along the Ohio River there. So without much chance for rain through the next week, I anticipate these drought conditions to deteriorate or worsen. So keep that in mind, especially if you are a farmer or know any farmers. I'm sure they're keeping a very close eye on any little bit of rain chances that we have. Here's a look at the longer range European model just to kind of show you the lack of weather systems moving through the Ohio River Valley. We've got this area of high pressure that's anchored over top of us now, but it will slip off to our east through the rest of the work week next week, which is what is going to allow those winds to come up out of the south, and we'll start to warm back up. But it's most importantly going to act as like a shield. So anything that tries to come into the tri-state from the west kind of just gets dried up and falls apart before it reaches here. So very, very little precipitation chances through much of next week, if any at all. Our next best chance looks like maybe it arrives along the leading edge of a weaker frontal boundary by the end of next weekend. So that is about 8 days away, and I don't really put much faith in cold fronts 8 days out. So I wouldn't really hang on to that rain chance too much. I wouldn't be surprised if it started to wane over the last couple of days, or at least the next few days. But we'll be dry, we'll be warming up. Our hazards outlook through the 15th through the 21st got this big red bullseye through the Midwest and the Ohio River Valley here, indicating extreme heat is possible through that time frame. And our temperature outlook shows us warming up above average for the 15th through the 21st. So what does that look like for us? Well, our average high, usually in the mid 80s for this time of year, will be below that for tomorrow and then hanging out right around normal for Tuesday. It's not until Wednesday that we start to pop up back above average into the upper 80s and then flirting with 90 degrees Thursday, Friday, and even into next weekend, with our overnight lows popping back up to near normal into the lower 60s Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and then above average there on Sunday. So these cooler overnight lows also going to start to go away soon. But that's a look at the local forecast. Not a whole lot going on, but outside of the area, we do have some tropical systems to track. We've got the Pacific Ocean here. This is Hurricane Kiko. It is a Category 2 storm at this point. It's moving west-northwest at around 13 miles per hour towards the Hawaiian Islands, and wind speeds are sustained at around 110 miles per hour around that core. So fairly strong Category 2 hurricane. It is expected to weaken, though, into a Category 1 by early tomorrow morning, and then eventually into just a tropical storm as it passes to the north of the Hawaiian Islands. So not taking a direct hit, thankfully. However, likely going to cause some rough surf and some unsettled weather conditions there for folks vacationing or obviously living there. So that's a look at your 7-day forecast. Just to wrap everything up into a bow here, we are going to stay pretty dry. Not a whole lot of rain chances through the next 7 days. A lot of sunshine, though. Temperatures will stay cool through the start of the work week on Monday, but popping back up above average by Wednesday and into the end of next week, flirting with 90 degrees even through next weekend. So summer's not quite over yet, but the good news is, while we are going to be heating up, I do want to note the humidity doesn't really follow suit with it. So it is going to spike up a touch, but it's not going to be stifling like what we saw in July. So it is maybe more of a drier heat. So hopefully we don't really get any heat advisory headlines, but obviously if we do, if we start to see those heat index values topping out in the triple digits, we will let you know, and we will issue any alerts for that heat if it does get that serious. So that is all I've got for the forecast here. So let me go ahead and check out the comments. We've got a couple in here. Looks like Lacey Martin says that this past Thursday she reported to Byron in our morning stream that there was an earthquake in Edwards County near Albion and Grayville. And yes, that was, I believe, a 2.1 earthquake. And I think one of our reporters followed up with it and did a story on it last week. So you guys can go back and watch that if you're interested. Jeanette Rice says it is nice out. I agree. A beautiful day today and a beautiful evening as well, especially if you're into the cooler temperatures. Cheyenne says good evening as well. And then Mary says hello from Central Kentucky. Was just out looking at the beautiful corn moon. Yes, that is what this night's full moon is called. It is called the corn moon because a lot of crops go into harvest, specifically corn, and a lot of the times the moons are named almost kind of coinciding with what is actually being harvested at that time. So back in July, I think it's called the strawberry moon because a lot of strawberries are coming into season. So it kind of has fun little names to go along with that type of season that we're in. Ricky says he loves this weather. I do too. It really is perfect. I mean, for a fall day to feel like this, or at least in the summertime, very rare, but it doesn't stick around too long. So enjoy the 70s for tomorrow, but climbing back up through the 80s, topping out around 90 by the end of next week. Yes, Lacey. Byron told her that 2.1 might be difficult to feel. Yes, I think it was a little difficult to feel. I think that's one of what the officials said in that report. But still interesting to note. But that is all the questions I am seeing here on the Facebook live stream. So I'm going to hop off of the live, and I'll send you guys over to 14 News at 10 for all the latest news and weather headlines. Until then, everybody, stay safe and have a great rest of your night.